Welcome to the Badass Direct Sales Mastery Podcast with your direct sales dom, Jennie Bellinger. Badass Direct Sales Mastery is a podcast for rock star direct sales moms who are determined to make their business kick ass. Jennie will share her knowledge of effective sales and recruiting techniques, tips to get what you want from your business, and will interview direct sales professionals and leaders from various companies. The interviews will give insight to how these rock stars got to where they are and where they plan to grow in the future. And now, the direct sales dom, Jennie Bellinger.
Welcome back to another episode of Badass Direct Sales Mastery. I am your host, your direct sales dom, Jennie Bellinger, helping you whip your business into shape. Here today, I have with me Jonathan Tillman. Now, Jonathan, do you want to go by Jonathan or JT?
Call me JT. Keep it simple for people. Let's go JT.
Awesome. Okay. Today I have with me JT. And let me tell you a little bit about JT. So connections is what drives JT. He's a passionate people connector and leader who thrives on making his team successful. He educates people on how CBD improves their health, and he teaches the steps on how to reach the next level in business by connecting with others. And here's a nice little fun fact about him. He's a foodie who loves to eat and play video games. I love it. That's why you and I have connected so hard, JT. So welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Ms. Jennie. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be on here.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So you and I actually met from one of the previous guests on the podcast, Sherry Pearson. Sherry Pearson appeared on my show and then invited me to come to your networking group, which was the virtual team networking. Is that correct?
Yep. AKA V Team.
Oh my gosh. So the V Team has been amazing. So many amazing people. I've loved getting to connect with people like you, JT. And so I want to know first of all, how did you get into your CBD business? And then we'll get into the networking piece.
Okay, perfect. Thank God for my mom showing another business way when I was in college, a sophomore in college. And she just invited me to one of her meetings. I invited my friend and my former college basketball team at the time and family. And I saw the presentation. I'm like, I'm in. I didn't look left or right. I said, I'm in. A couple of years after that, Mr. Juwan Howard, a former NBA player, now the University of Michigan head coach for basketball, he was looking for a company to collaborate with. So his CBD brand called Oxygen. So he collaborated with a company called Finally in the health and wellness division. And when we had our first meeting about CBD, I was like, wait, that's another side of the family? So then my major being in health and physical education and concentrating in sports coaching and wellness, I said, this is perfect. It's going right along my field, and I'm passionate about health, how you can improve the body, how you can strengthen the body, especially in a more natural way. So that's how I really got into CBD space in late 2017, early 2018. And I just saw a great opportunity, not only for myself, but also financially for my family and also for my dad ministry, especially the youth and young adult ministry. So that's how I got into space.
I love that. And as you've been building and growing this business, what would you say you are most proud of that you've achieved with your oxygen business?
Well, I'm most proud of, be honest with you, knowing that I'm able to educate people how to improve your health. Because, I love to hear, man, I didn't even know that. Once they start knowing that, it's now they can make a better decision. So with me, I'm most proud of helping people improving their health. I think that's the most important for me.
Oh, I love that. I love that because, this is something I've talked about quite a bit on the podcast, which is, we are every single one of us, mom, dad, single people, whatever, it doesn't matter. We're all juggling a whole bunch of balls in our lives. We've got our health, we've got our business, we've got our relationships, we have our friends, we have our job. Some of us are working a job and doing the business at the same time. And so having all of these different balls that we're juggling, your health ball is one that you have to be careful with because it is a ball that Well, it's not necessarily made of glass, but it's certainly not made of rubber. It can bounce back, but I'd say it's probably one of those like really hard rubber balls that you have to hit, that you have to bounce really hard to get it to do anything, right?
Right.
So
Exactly.
knowing that about the health and wellness is so, so important and a key foundational piece, especially, well, as I was telling you in the pre-interview, the BDSM crew is mostly
Yeah.
moms, and sometimes our health is the last thing that we're taking care of. So knowing how CBD can really feed into a healthy lifestyle is really, really important. So the education piece I think is phenomenal because I bet you find sales to be really easy since you're educating.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Especially my field. I
Uh-huh.
mean, the journey of because the reason I push out education so much because they already confused between Mary Jane and Miss Natural. They're just bringing up TACC. They already confused. For me and my team, we basically concentrate. Look, how about we educate people first? The reason why we educate people so people be more open, and now they're more intensive and put you more credibility. Cause you see it all the time. CBD, we the best. CBD here, but they never take the time to educate people how CBD works in their body, how they can work with other people in their family. So that's why I stress so much on education. And once the education hit, once they got education, they ready to go. They ready to rock and roll. They don't want to think about it. Just go ahead and do it. So
Yeah. Oh yeah, because once you know, you can't unknow. Like it's that thing you can't unsee. It's the train wreck. Like you watch it, you know it, you see it happening, and you can't unsee it, right? So once you know and know how it works in your body, then the rest is an easy decision, especially if you've got someone who's your trusted authority who helped take you along that educational journey. And that's really, really cool. So you're in a CBD business, you're educating people, you're in a network marketing CBD business, right?
right.
So networking is a very important piece. And as I alluded to at the very beginning of our conversation, you and I met because of networking. How did you end up in a networking space like the virtual team?
Great. Once again, before the virtual team, I was networking at another networking event. So shout out to Shauna. I met her through a networking event and she loved what I was doing in the CBD space. And when she was creating her team, said, "Yo, I really do want you on my team. Like, to really educate the team. Cause how we need to balance we need to diversify the people on the V team, referral group." So that's how I really got in the V team by through another networking event. People networking keep you in the game.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, absolutely. Because when you're
So that's how I got in the game.
yeah, when you're networking, and of course in a network marketing business, that's like an expected bare minimum is to
Yes.
network, right? But when you're networking properly and when you're educating and as you said at the beginning of your bio, connections are what drive you. You love connecting people. So, it sounds to me, or it seems to me, just because this is not our first conversation, and this is why I invited you on the show, because you really seem to have a knack for seeing connections of people who could benefit one another, even if it doesn't necessarily benefit you. So is that something that you've learned through your networking time over the past 3-4 years now that you've been in your network marketing business?
Yes. Even in college, I knew very early. I probably the youngest person, got the only college kid in there. I learned very, very important. Like, man, I got to keep making connections, even not right for me, but I know someone else that need your service. And what that showed that other person, dang, this person, he don't just care about himself. He care about others. So when you network, don't just look at. Of course, we all get clients and business partners because yes, it's all about business. But at the same time, look out, help, give, man, give. Once people start seeing you now in their mind, like, man, this person really do think about how can I help this person? But most importantly, I want to, how can I help you? Which connection can I give you? Like,
Mm.
who do you want to be in front of? You need to be in front of the podcast. You need to be in front of the doctor. You need to be in front of a social media person. Like, what kind of connection you need? I want to help you get that connection. So,
I think that's so important because when many network marketers are having conversations with new people, unfortunately, their focus is how can I sell this person on my product? And instead of saying, how can I be of service to this person to the point where they can no longer ignore me and the service that I offer. So even if it's not for them, maybe they can connect me to someone else. So as you've been going through this process, it sounds to me like you and I have a very similar way of looking at this, in that I regularly tell people I have a 100% closing rate in my sales conversations.
Mm-hmm.
The difference between me and people who have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 70% closing rates, the difference is I'm not just selling for me. It's that connecting them to the person who solves their top of mind problem. So if they don't need a coach right now, okay, great. What's the biggest thing on your mind right now? Oh, well, my marriage is falling apart. Great. I know a counselor or two.
Exactly.
It's going, okay, yeah, right now coaching for your business, not necessarily your top of mind thing. You want to fix your relationship. Not my wheelhouse, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I'm able to tell people I have 100% closing rate, is because I'm not always selling for me. I'm always looking, just like you were saying, looking for, okay, who do you need to meet? Oh, let me introduce you to my social media expert. Let me introduce you to, and I think that does two amazing things, right? First of all, the person who you're talking to is really happy that you're not trying to sell them on services that they're not concerned with at the moment, or a product they're not concerned with. And the second thing is then it also deepens that connection with the person you're referring them to, because now you've given them a potential client that they didn't have to go find, right? And then what are they going to want to do for you in return?
They want to do, it's like, how can I help you? Like, who do you want to meet?
Exactly.
Who do you want to help?
Yeah. When you send enough referrals to someone else, they suddenly at some point perk their ears up if they're your kind of person, right? Because that's a great, I think, please give me your take on this. I think that's a great way to kind of test the waters with the kind of human being they are, if their core values align with yours. Is that if you send them a bunch of referrals, is their response, first of all, gratitude? And secondly, how can I help you in return? Right? Tell me about how that has benefited your business. Because how long have you been a member of your networking group?
In the CBD space, about 4 or 5 years now.
Okay.
So how that really helped me in the gratitude, I'm being so genuine. I'm just letting you straight up, being so transparent. Look, I'm not looking, when I send you a referral, I'm not looking nothing in return. Like, this is all per, hey, this is the person I want you to connect with. Mm-hmm. That's it. Have your way. And I think with that, it's just me not thinking about anything in return. Because a lot of people never market direct sale. They think about get, what can you give me? But still, people can see that, they can read your facial expression, everything, your voice, your tone. But when you say, you know what, let me look at my network and see I can help you and everything. When you start doing that, or you say, you know what, maybe I don't know nothing right now, but I always network all the time, I'll be on the lookout. So who's the best person you love to meet? And tell people like, man, this person is really genuine. Like, that person really want to make connection for him, because there's plenty of money in the world. So
yeah. Yeah. And I mean, it's so funny that you're now the second person I've had a conversation with today. The other person was not a podcast interview. It was just a networking connection I was having with somebody. And you're the second person today who has brought up, when I can help someone, I'm bringing a little bit more peace and happiness into the world, because they have, first of all, the person that you're referring to, your partner, your business partner, your referral partner, that person who's being referred is getting their problem fixed. So they're going to be a happier human being because their problem is getting fixed, right? Your referral partner is a happier human being because they got a client. So what we're doing when we can refer like this, when we can network and connect people, we're making the world a better place, y'all.
Yeah, making the world a much better place and everything. So continue to network, man. Continue networking again. Even you don't have a whole huge database. Let's start off networking. Let's start off networking and say, look, I'm just here to network. Who can I connect? I'm just increasing my span of business here.
Yeah, exactly. And so as you've been going through this process of networking for the last few years, have you been utilizing any sort of way of tracking who you're talking with and how you're and who they are and what they do and who they're looking for? Or do you just right now keep it all up in your head?
No, I actually do have well, before COVID, have everybody business card and everything. I said, all right, cool. This got the insurance. So I put in my little CRM or newsletter, whatever. I said, all right, cool. And also I have a notebook.
Okay.
Especially now virtually, I gotta have a notebook, write a little note. Oh, this person does digital media. This person is a photographer. So I add little notes. So whenever I'm like, man, who's this person I need to speak to? Go back in my notebook. Say, all right, cool. That's the person. So I do. That's my little tracker. You know, it's old school, but it keep me going, keep me tracking. I'm like, all right, this is the person. This is why I need to speak to this person. Because I also want me writing notes. It remind me why I'm reaching out to you and what connection I have for you, or just simply just why I'm reaching out to you.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I love that. So I think, here's the thing. So many times nowadays, people feel like their tracking has to be digital or virtual or whatever. And it's like, no, old school methods work just fine. Just have a system, please.
It's okay. Go old school and new school. Go to write down, because once you write it down, you have to remember something, and the pen don't lie. Yeah. Then you have some additional. I look at it when you write something down as a backup, just in case my system break down. I at least have a backup. Yeah. So you can do both worlds, but we live in a time of additional, everything additional. Then just keep in mind, we're having additional. You just lost everything.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And the same is true in the reverse, right? Because, I've got clients who come to me going, okay, I have got to get out of the notebook system because, in one example, I had a client who said, I've got to have a virtual way to track what I was writing in my notebooks, because I have like 17 of them and they're all over my house. I've got to have a more condensed system, right? So there's always this finding a way, because too, yes, you can lose a notebook just like you can lose digital data. You can have your kid, and I say this because this actually happened to me, people, okay? You can have your kid, your 3 or 4-year-old child, find your notebook and go take it and color in it. So now there's crayon all over what you wrote and you can't see.
So that's where go a good balance. Just have both people. Don't just be one-minded. Have both.
Right. Have a way to track those things. Absolutely. Because, that which gets tracked gets done.
Exactly.
Right. I mean, it's time after time. That which gets tracked gets done. That which gets celebrated gets repeated. Right. So when you can say, oh my gosh, look, I reached my goal. Well, how do you know you reached the goal? Because I tracked it.
Exactly. You track now the progress of everything. Yep.
Yeah. And then you can celebrate, and then you can go back and do it all over again, right? For your next goal, right? So I think that's really cool. So as you've been going through your business, so you're networking, you're connecting people, what are some obstacles that you've encountered in your business well, let's start with an obstacle that you've overcome. So what was an obstacle that maybe you didn't see coming, but you found a way around it?
I love that question, especially in this time period. It's obstacle to go all about education. Because when I'm missing CBD people, that weed, that's marijuana. First thing coming out of my baby sister, I'm like, dog, give me a chance. No, I'm not interested. Dog, hold up. So the time period have changed. People have opened up. How I overcome that is based over education. Look here, just give me 10 minutes. I'll explain to you how CBD works and what CBD is. And I ask the question, do you know what the difference between CBD and THC? No. Okay, then have a conversation. Boom. Now I got you.
Yeah.
Now I can have a conversation. Then I explain to you, keep it so simple. Main thing, keep it so simple that they can explain to their 5-year-old, and the 5-year-old can explain to their grandma and uncle what it is that you have. And once you keep it so simple, it's like, oh, all right, so I just overcome that. Other than that, the rest of that is easy. So especially in the industry, when people, especially in health, people serious about the health, they don't know. People just don't know. They just don't know. So me educating, a lot of obstacles came from is this weed, it is marriage, it is marijuana. I'm not interested. And then now over the years, oh my God, see, I heard so much about it. Now they open up already, because now what? They see it everywhere and they get a little more education. They just need more.
Yeah. So. Yeah. in terms of thinking about your clients, now, I don't want you to have to share a client name or anything,
Yeah.
but I would love to hear a client success story in terms of they got educated by you, they started using the product. What was their testimonial to you about what the CBD did for them?
I loved it. So one of my, I had got invited to someone, once again, networking group. And she said, JT, you're the first person talking about CBD and all this cannabis overall to my people. And she went to my event because I was hosting events for people to get educated on CBD. Great turnout. And she got more educated. She bought CBD gummies from me because her grandmother-in-law couldn't sleep at night because she had so much pain. And she tried other CBD products. She didn't like the taste, this and that. So when she tried my CBD gummies, she called when she went the next event. She was like, JT, I really, really do thank you for your education because now my grandma can actually take the gummy, sleep throughout the night without waking up in pain, but in peace the next day. I was like, wow, that's powerful. So that's one of I got other testimonies, but that's one I'll really stick out. Like, dog, like that. I'm really glad to hear that. And a recent one last week, same situation, grandma situation, can't sleep or anything, always in pain. And she called me and said, JT, I just want to let you know, thank you. I said, well, what's up? What happened? She said, my sister just let me know our grandma, she said, I'm not in pain. And they were like, what? Wow. She's still working on sleeping, but at the same time, now when she calmed down and everything, she don't have to worry about pain. I think and by hearing that, I'll be so happy because I educate you on how CBD works. Because people are looking for ways.
Yeah. And I don't mean this with pun intended, but I guess pun intended. Pain is a really big pain point for customers, right? Because, nobody, well, I shouldn't say nobody. A vast majority of the population do not enjoy pain.
Yeah, over 53 million people in America right now experience some kind of chronic pain.
Yeah. And so that is not something that most people like to live with, want to live with, and getting out of pain is really, really important to them. And so, part of the reason I wanted to talk about this with you, and because I knew some of your testimonials were around the pain piece, is because you have a really generous offer for the listener of the Badass Direct Sales Mastery podcast, which is a free sample of some of the CBD pain cream that your company offers. That is really kind of you.
Yeah, it's free CBD because everybody pain, even working out. So I got something for a quick fix, or you need a deeper muscle tissue. Got that cream for it, that topical. Really just test it out. The main thing I find out when people think about CBD, a lot of time they're afraid to take it. So that's why I give out a sample of a gummy or a cream, because that's something they're familiar with.
Right.
So get something that's somebody familiar with, and let's try it out. Try it. So that's why I'm like, you know what? Let me give the audience, Miss Jennie, audience, free CBD cream. You just gotta reach out to me.
Yeah, absolutely. So BDSM crew, JT and I had a conversation before the interview, and he said the best way to reach out to him is through his Instagram or his LinkedIn connection. So crew, you know how this goes. As long as you're not driving, grab your phone, click on today's episode that you're listening to right now. All you have to do is just scroll up a little bit on the screen, and the show notes are going to be right there under JT's picture. And you're going to be able to see his Instagram link or his LinkedIn link, whichever one, or hey, why not connect with him on both? And then reach out to JT and say, hey, I heard you on the Badass Direct Sales Mastery podcast. I would like a free sample of your CBD pain cream. And he will send that out to you so you can give it a try and then have a conversation, get educated about CBD. Yeah. Why not? Because I know I've learned a lot about CBD just from my couple of conversations that I've had with JT already. And that's why I knew I had to have him on the show, because I haven't had anybody else talk about CBD. This is really important stuff, people, because this is another avenue that most people were not aware of before 3, 4, 5 years ago. I remember that was when I first started hearing whisperings of some.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
it was.
that's the biggest part of the industry. When first, like, let's say early 2018, it was a whisper.
Yeah.
Some like very few knew about it. A mass majority didn't know about it until the years came by, and like everybody knows to do it everywhere. We just need a good source.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
and a little fun fact, since you got a lot of moms on here,
Yeah.
over 58% of CBD users are women.
Ah, there you go. Well, it doesn't surprise me because we as moms, we hold so much tension in our body, and that tension turns into pain. I had a really funny conversation with my chiropractor very on when I first started seeing him. And he said it's really funny because women are pains in the neck and men are a pain in the butt. Because women tend to hold our tension up in our neck and our shoulders. And so he goes, so that's the joke, right? Women are a pain in the neck just because they have pain in the neck, right? That's where
Mhm.
women tend, we just scrunch up and we hold it all up in here. And I know you guys can hear me with my voice that I'm clenching up because that's how we all do it. I regularly throughout the day have to take moments of 30-second meditations to just relax my entire upper body. Otherwise, I will get that pain in the neck. Right. So it doesn't surprise me that 50%, 58% of CBD users are women because we have a lot of pain. We shoulder a lot, man. So I get
Yes.
it. That's really good to know. So, well, JT, I really thank you so much for being here and sharing your expertise and your knowledge about not only the CBD business and industry, but also the networking piece. Because I mean, hello, network marketing, you should be networking.
Networking. Like that's like rule number one. Network. I understand people say, well, there's not enough people. Right? Like it's over 7 billion people in the world. What are you talking about? Network. This is I don't know how to network. Well, put yourself out there. Like it's all by exposure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything.
It's conversations with other human beings.
Exactly.
And I think when you go into it with that idea and that goal of connecting and educating, right? If those are your two goals, because I would have to say that really shifted my whole networking experience. Because I'm not going to tell you I was perfect at networking from the get go. When I first joined my BNI chapter, I was all about selling the crap out of some jewelry. I was all about it. But then as I learned about the giver's gain, as I learned about, build relationships, build trust, get to the point where people trust you, then the referrals come easily from that. But you have to know
Yes.
enough about other people. You have to be connecting other people to that. So it's a learning process, right? And if you're not willing to go do it and screw up a little bit, because like I said, I didn't do it perfectly. JT, were you perfect from the get-go?
No, I was not perfect from the get. I was messing up, but then like I said, more and more network events, I kept going, and people. I always hang out with professional networkers. I ask tips, like, "Yo, how to connect network?" And I got people, professional coaches that network. So y'all, if y'all need to learn how to network, ask somebody who a networking coach. But constantly go, and more you go, more and more you find your niche, and the
Yeah.
more and more you know how to speak to people and relate to people.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
so it's like people just go out there. Well, I don't know how to network. Well, first step is go out there, do it, and
Yeah.
everything. And find a person or professional networker. You don't know, just keep going. Cause me, I kept going by experience. Kept going, okay, this is how I introduce myself. Oh, this is how I can connect this person. This my mindset supposed to be and everything. So,
I love it. So here we are, guys. I'm getting ready to wrap up, and we get even more nuggets of brilliance from Jonathan Tillman. So, JT, thank you so much for sharing your time, your expertise with my audience. I so appreciate you.
you're welcome. Thank you for having me, man. I was so happy. I'm like, yes, I'm excited.
Nice. Well, we're so glad to have you here. And BDSM crew, don't forget he's offering a free sample of the CBD pain cream. So if you have pain in your neck, pain in your shoulder, well, maybe you're somebody who has a pain in the ass. I don't know, whatever. Feel free to go ahead and get a sample and try it out and see if this works for you, and get educated if you're not already educated about CBD and how it could be a benefit to you and or someone in your family or your network, and connect them to JT, because hey, maybe you have a grandma who's having trouble sleeping because of pain. That seems to be his his wheelhouse is helping
Yeah.
people's grandmas, which is awesome because
For
grandmas are the
pain-
best.
For pain, a lot of older people. For
Yeah.
younger moms, young generations, a lot of stress.
Yeah.
I know the shift between those two. So yeah.
Oh my God. See, look at that, guys. We didn't even get into that part of it. Oh, JT, I think I'm going to have you back and we'll talk about how CBD can help with stress and anxiety. Cause man, that's a thing that I can connect with stress. Anxiety is not a thing I have because I learned from a very smart man. Oh gosh, probably about 2 years ago. And he said, anxiety is somebody who has an overactive imagination that only thinks about the worst case scenarios.
Yeah, we got to do another one because I got some heat on the anxiety and stress part. I got some heat for that.
Oh, then yeah, I'm going to send you the link and we'll bring you back later this year to make sure that you can have that conversation with people. Because man, if we can reduce some stress and anxiety in this world, reduce the pain in this world, get people connecting, be more successful. I think JT, you and I, and probably the listener right now are thinking, man, how can we bring about world peace?
Exactly.
Yep. All
Awesome.
right, guys. Well, thanks again, JT. And BDSM crew, you guys know how this goes. Stay tuned because there's another badass episode on its way.
Thanks for listening to the Badass Direct Sales Mastery Podcast with your direct sales dom, Jennie Bellinger. Why are you waiting to go to badassdirectsalesmastery.com? Don't make the dom get her whip. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to share it with another rock star that you know in direct sales after you subscribe to the podcast so you won't miss any future episodes. You can also check out the show notes for links and any contact information mentioned in today's episode. We'll see you next time.